Good morning and welcome to the program. Hello, Kate.
Hi, Steve.
Do you have earbuds?
They're not working unbelievably at the moment. I just tried 2 pairs just this afternoon, unfortunately. Am I clear enough?
Well, you're clear enough. The thing is that we will occasionally get echo because really we should be wearing earbuds. But however, welcome to the live broadcast. Now, chatting just before, have you been live on BeLive at all, or BeLive, or Facebook Live, or any live?
I have been Facebook Live. Yes, I've done some Zoom Lives, but I have not been on BeLive before. So this is my first time on BeLive.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
So what on the Zoom calls, what are you actually broadcasting about?
So on my Zoom calls, I was running a women's program.
Okay.
And sharing information on Zoom with my women's programs and my circles that I hold back here in Australia.
Okay. So we're back to Australia.
So I'm based in just south of Adelaide, so in South Australia. So for those that don't know where that is, that's down in the bottom half of Australia, in the middle between the East Coast and the West Coast.
Right. I mean, unfortunately, I've been to Melbourne and to Sydney. My son lives in Brisbane. They emigrated 6 years ago, and I'm looking forward to actually visiting them. They're about to move house at the moment, so I am hoping to visit their new house next year. All things being equal.
Lovely. I used to be in Queensland. Before moving back here after 24 years of living away.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Right. Now, before every broadcast, I try and do some research so that I can actually sort of talk about what you do in your business. But I couldn't find you. I could not find you. So let's start from the beginning. What do you actually do?
So I am a colon hydrotherapy and a women's feminine embodiment coach. So I run cleansing programs. I do interdimensional detoxification programs, and I also run women's circles and feminine embodiment work.
Okay. What is about detox programs? What are the benefits of detox programs?
So the detoxification programs I run, Steve, are very much tailored to cleaning up the digestive system, which ultimately is cleaning up the cellular waste and debris that we have in our body so that we have greater access to well-being and vitality.
And this builds up.
Sorry, what was that, Steve?
The need to detox. It's basically it's because our body doesn't process everything properly, or why? Why detox?
Yeah, generally these days our bodies don't detoxify the way they should, with an overload on our liver, our kidneys, our lymphatics. So, you know, our lifestyle in the 21st century isn't what it was, you know, decades and centuries ago. So we end up getting quite a buildup of toxicity in our body, which prevents us from being able to tune in and really hear and understand what our body's speaking to us. So it's about eliminating the excess toxicity that we build up through food, through environment, through pollution, through stress.
Yeah, stress is a big factor, especially
absolutely. Yeah.
Right now, what part does diet play?
Diet plays in our lives? Yeah, look, diet should play a huge part in our lives, because when we think about it, you know, food is our medicine. And when we're thinking about food being our medicine, then what we're actually bringing into our bodies is either going to be of a nourishing medicinal purpose for us, or we're either going to be bringing in dietary wise, which is high toxicity with preservatives and foods that actually aren't designed for our bodies to be breaking down in an easy state.
What sort of foods are that? What sort of foods are
Yeah, so a lot of, the processed, the packaged, the foods that are actually got long shelf life predominantly, when we think about it, if we're eating a plant-based whole foods diet, and for those that, even want to eat meat, it's about making sure that you're getting from the source, grass-fed, clean, no hormones. Predominantly we have a plant-based diet because that's what Mother Nature gave us to eat. And then if we can have that in its purest form, then we have the ability to have the nutrients and the vitamins that's provided from that for us.
What sort of foods should we avoid?
What should we avoid?
Yes.
Yeah, high refined sugars, the foods that have loaded preservatives in them. It's about really listening to our bodies, how our bodies operate, how we fine-tune ourselves. If we are having good regular bowel motions, our bodies are well hydrated. So fruits are extremely beneficial for our bodies because they act like a detergent, like a cleansing property for us. So they help to flush out the cell and the cell waste.
One thing we drink tea and coffee, but do we need to drink water daily? And if so, how much water should we be drinking?
Absolutely, we should be drinking water daily. They say 1 litre per 22 kilo of body weight, but predominantly what we really need to focus on is the quality of water that we're having. And ensuring that if you can't get good quality water, you're better off to have high diet of fruits, especially melons and berries, because they are so high in water content. So we're getting a natural source of hydration in our bodies.
Does it matter? I've got this discussion with my partner. She's got a glass of water on the go all day. I actually enjoy fruit cordial without sugar, and I drink 2 or 3 glasses of that a day. Is there any difference between drinking ordinary water and water plus juice? Well, cordial.
Yeah, cordial generally has been through a refined process where water is in its natural state.
Right.
And, when we've got good quality water, the water molecules are a lot less. So it has a greater ability to penetrate into our cells. So the water has its own molecule structure. And when the water isn't in a pure form, those clusters become greater, which then inhibit the ability for that to penetrate to hydrate our cells as well.
So it reduces the hydration, much in the
Absolutely.
same way. And drinking tea and coffee. I know well, what are your thoughts on it?
Look, tea and coffee, herbal teas are great. Generally coffee, if you are going to drink coffee, it can be extremely dehydrating to the body. If you've got adrenal stress and your system's already under a load, it's highly acidic in the body. So one of the things with coffee is predominantly most people will have a coffee, then they'll mix some milk into it, then they'll add some sugar into it. So we're making a acidic, toxic bomb for our bodies to receive, in a sense.
I gave up sugar 5 years ago, and now just use sweeteners. Is there any problem with sweeteners at all?
Sweeteners are better preferred not to be taken because it is another form of sugar in a sense. So, the more we start to cleanse our palate, the more we detoxify our body, the greater ability we are to be able to notice the natural sweet in our food that we have. And when we're actually having refined sugars or extra sweeteners, then it's I can see my lights flashing. I might just turn them off in a moment. Are they bothering you?
No, we're good.
Okay, great. So yeah, to eliminate sweeteners is quite a gift to the body in a sense, and it's about slowly removing the artificial that we have so that our body can actually begin to taste all its natural flavors.
Understood. Now, you mentioned that you have a women's program. Can you tell us something about that?
Yeah, certainly. So over the years, Steve, working in the work that I have, identified that a lot of, and not just women, but men in general, us as a society these days have become very numb in being able to feel what's actually happening to our bodies, especially women as we've grown up, that suppression. So the work that I do now is connecting the woman back in so that she can hear those deeper whispers. It's about connecting back into the body's intelligence and starting to begin the awakening that brain-body connection so that we can tune back into that innate wisdom that our bodies hold within.
So I'm trying to totally understand because I'm coming to this cold. So we have, you want to refocus yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Totally, yeah. So it's about reawakening the innate wisdom that we have. So over time, we've built up, when we think about it, we've sort of thrown on all these different coats over our bodies. So it's about unveiling. It's about removing the masks, removing the coats so that we can come back into our raw state of being. We can actually really tune and check in. We can identify what our bodies are feeling emotionally, physically, and actually what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Now, you run these sessions online at the moment?
I've just completed running an online course.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got another couple that are kicking off at the end of August again. So obviously throughout COVID, I was kicking off a program that we ended up taking online, which was amazing. So through that process, now I've got another level that's rolled out of that. And yeah, so I'm taking a lot of my work online so I can access and share it to a greater collective across not just Australia, but now I've had some dropping in from Germany as well. Another one from Italy and Spain. So it's actually gifted me the opportunity to start sharing my work globally.
Brilliant. And as you said, the audience is global, and you don't know where people are going to drop in from. Right now, you've been on Zoom so far. Have you any plans to go over to BeLive? He said, hopefully.
Well, I'm looking at it. Yes, absolutely. So when this dropped in, I was like, oh, what's this place? And I'm really enjoying doing a little bit of homework around that. So I think BeLive is a really great place to start to tune into. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is that it is simple and straightforward to use. Having used Zoom, you'll find BeLive does everything that Zoom does, plus some handy things as well, like the ability to actually brand and to show videos from YouTube. And it's just so simple and straightforward to use, so powerful. And now we can go live on Facebook and YouTube. It's opened up a whole new world because there are people on YouTube actually go to watch video. They don't go to surf Facebook. So it's a totally different audience. And it's where once you've done something, you've got a recording there, and the recording stays there forever. And if you get your SEO right, your tags right, then people can find you. Right now, talking of finding you, do you have a website?
I've got my website under construction at the moment. So it's funny, I've been working in my business for some years in a rather stealth-like manner, Steve, but I've always been heavily booked out and my workshops always sell out. So, I feel quite gifted in a sense that I've been able to create the business that I have without any major being out there. But to share my work is now to get out here. Yeah.
Right. No, it's quite an achievement to actually be able to do it offline, as it were. and to come into online, you're actually bringing everything that you've put together in the real world, and it's an opportunity to reach new people. Do you have because I couldn't find out anything, I'm learning as we go through this chat. Do you have a Facebook page?
I do have a Facebook page. Yeah, I have a couple. So one of them is The Whole Collective.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one that we run is called Illicit Health.
Right, now I found talk of illicit health, and that was purely by accident, because your husband is on LinkedIn.
Yes.
And I found him there, and I found mention of illicit health, so I knew a little bit. But that's the only place I could actually find it. So
Yeah. And I've been offline for 2 weeks. Otherwise, we could have been a little bit more prepared. So I actually went out to our outback area, our bush, and I had completely no service. I was unplugged, and it was quite remarkable just getting back and connecting back to nature. So, but my husband, who you would have found with Illicit Health, and we've created that part of the business as well, to really drive home that health is the new high. For many people, the illicit health was created out of, people using alcohol, using, illicit substances for all of that numbing. And it's about saying, hey, health's a new high. You can get the same hit, same kick, same high as all these other things that we bring into our bodies.
In the developed world, Australia, England, Europe, and America, we do have two problems. And one of those is drink, and the other of those is obesity, isn't it? Those are two central problems to our civilization.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, it's so legalized, and it's so promoted, and it's so advertised, and it is causing and wreaking havoc throughout our communities, our families, and, like you were saying, across, globally, of how we are as a human race.
Yeah. And basically, the government in the UK have just said that obesity is the new drinking problem. It has to be stamped out, and programs are being put together to actually to help people improve their health, improve their diet, and it's been a situation where I've got to ask this question because it's just, well, I've got to ask it. What do you think of fast food?
What do I think of what food?
Fast food. McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Wendy's.
I don't eat it.
No, I'm not surprised. I don't either. But
look, when we think about it, we go to McDonald's and we order some chips. There's, over 20 ingredients in a chip.
Yeah.
Yeah. A chip is a potato. When we think about buying a burger and we don't eat it, it still looks okay a few days later. You got to think, if that's still looking okay on a bench, what's that looking like in my body, when our bodies are designed to eat, to break it down, to absorb it, to eliminate it? So I don't encourage fast food, because I know what it does to the body, and our bodies aren't designed to be breaking down those foods.
And it's basically the ability to go to these places just makes eating. Well, do people need to learn to cook again?
Look, Steve, people need to learn to cook again. They need to really come back into nature, and where is it sourced? How is it, growing? Like, what's the travel of it? Like, how is it kept? How is it stored? Like, how long ago was it picked off of the tree or out of the ground? And, coming back to, like you were saying about cooking, because when we get to create our own food, we get to put our own energy into it. We get to activate our digestive enzymes. We get to prepare our body. So energetically, there's a very different exchange in creating our own food and then driving through and picking it up in a bag, because we're missing one of the core ingredients, and that's creation. Creating our own food, like knowing where it's from, knowing the process of how it's been made, how it's got to the plate, how it's got to the table. And I always talk about, we have food foreplay, and we have food orgasms.
Right.
Yeah. And the food foreplay is in the preparation. It's in the body starting to get those smells. When you smell something cooking in the kitchen and the body starts, and you start to salivate, it's
the anticipation.
It is. And then we do that creation, and then we bring that cooking in, and we sit at the table, and it's like, when you smell it and you get to see the colors, the flavors are popping out, and then we get to put it in our mouth. And predominantly what happens these days is that we're all so geared to be on the run, and that we don't take the opportunity to sit, to chew, to taste, to feel, and the food that we bring in either creates a expansion in our body where we feel energized and alive and nourished, or predominantly we inhale it, we eat it, and then what happens after is we feel contracted. So we're kind of like that, I feel tired, I feel bloated, I feel queasy. So it's really about awakening the body senses back again. And the kitchen's the place to start.
Our way of life is changing at the moment, and it's changing because of COVID. And we're all going to be, well, a lot of people who used to be working the corporate headquarters are now going to be working from home, aren't they?
Yeah.
And working from home, the problem with working from home is that the fridge is so near. It's tempting to go and have, well, if you work from home, you can have a snack whenever you want. If you've got work, it's less difficult. So do you have any advice for what people are working at home at the moment?
Absolutely. It's about tuning in. When you open the fridge door, are you actually opening it because you're procrastinating about something that you need to do? Are you opening it because you go, I've got nothing else I've got to do, or I think I'm hungry? Ask the body, are you actually thirsty? Like, when did you last eat? What's in the fridge? And, what you keep in your fridge is a really big part of it, because if you keep nourishing foods in the fridge, it's so much better. So if you are hungry, one of the other tips, Steve, is I always share with my clients is setting yourself up to eat. Not eating on the run, not making something and then sitting in front of the computer and eating, because we're not actually connected to eating our food at that moment. We're just putting it in. We're in robotic mode.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I never eat at the computer because, it's not good. Now, right, if you had the ability to say this is what you should eat today for breakfast, lunch, and evening meal, what sort of things would you be proposing? Just for an ideal day, say. How would you start your day?
An ideal day is hopping out of bed and having some water, and some lemon in your water is wonderful to help with alkalinity. And then just waiting, half an hour if you can, at least, just to let that body flush, wake everything up. The next would be to break fast with fruits. Because they are so hydrating. They're so cellular hydrating, but they're also highly astringent. So they actually help to wake up the digestive system, get the bowels moving, because we want to wake up in the morning and have a good bowel movement.
Yes.
And when we're bringing heavy foods, you know, those heavier, dense foods in, we've kind of like come straight out and come. So having fruits is really nourishing to break fast with. Juices are wonderful. Smoothies are really good because they take the load off of the digestive system nice and early in the morning.
Brilliant. Right. Well, I can honestly say, hand on heart, that for breakfast this morning I had fruit and yogurt.
Oh, look at you go.
Good start. Well, it's, I mean, we're upside down. It's a beautiful sunny day here in the UK. I know you're heading into winter, or in winter, in Australia. Yeah. It's been a pleasure talking today, Kate. Is there a message that you'd like to sort of give out to everybody as to, well, anything you like at all? The floor is yours.
Yeah, look, my message is about having the opportunity of knowing home and returning home here. It's about tuning back into your body. It's about listening, observing what is it that my body needs. Not about what do I want, what have I got, but what is it that my body needs right now? How do I best nourish myself? And if we can take that moment, or if you can take that moment to stop and think, is this medicine or is this toxicity or poison? You know, one of the most beautiful things is being able to come back and listen to your body and know what to feed it. 80-20 rule I always talk about, Steve. You know, the 80 rule is alkalinity, good health, good lifestyle, good food, and the 20% is the kryptonite. You know, it's the little bits that we know isn't great, but when we're having it in minimal amounts, we have a much greater opportunity to get greater health and well-being into our body. I've lost you. I can't hear you.
So I'm well known for doing that. I turn the microphone off and forget to turn it back on again. It's one of the things I do.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for joining me today. And I look forward to watching your broadcasts on BeLive. If you need any help at any time, then please do ask. And to everybody who's watched us today, Kate and I say thank you, take care, and goodbye for now. Bye.
Bye-bye from Australia. Thanks, Steve.